I'm Griff Green. I'm today's worship attendant. With me in today's service are our board president, Gregg Buckingham, our minister, Reverend Margalie Belizaire, our music director, Aubrey, Connelly-Candelario, and accompanist, Danny Monzon-Villegas on piano, and worship attendant, Elizabeth Horn. Also participating in the service today is board member Beth Tura, and of course, you. Beloved members and friends of this congregation will offer the questions to make this service happen. We offer a loving thank you to all of the behind-the-scenes teams that are supporting worship this week. Today, we are doing a question box service where you get to ask questions of the board president and the minister. If you didn't get a chance to write down a question at the welcome table, there is still time for you to participate in the service. Raise your hand, and you will be provided with an index card and a pencil. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are a non-creedal community that does not subscribe to a specific set of beliefs. We live by a covenant that encourages ethical behavior, affirms democracy, celebrates the worth of each individual, and unites us in a search for truth in meaning. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, your national origin, your gender, your sexual orientation, your age, your physical or mental abilities, your economic status, and your religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and for announcements, you can go to orlandouu.org or you can email info@orlandouu.org. So today's announcements, children will go to activities when we sing them out after the time for all ages. The nursery is open until noon. The in-gathering or water communion service will be next Sunday, September 8th. Bring water that you would like to commune with that of others, and we also invite you to wear blue for the water service. You can also now find the list of the week's upcoming events in our electronic order of service, which you can access through the QR code, which will be shown at the end of the announcements. And now we have a special announcement from our music director, Aubrey Connelly-Candelario.
Good morning. I have 3 announcements. First, I want to introduce a guest who will be with us this morning singing, Jeff Dean. He actually was here Christmas Eve singing. He and Danny will be doing a duet today during the offertory. A reminder that children's choir meets today 11:45 to 12:15. This is our last rehearsal with them before they sing. They will premiere next week in service. So we want the kids today, and then you get to see them next week. And the last thing is just an announcement that next Saturday night is our first concert of the Milk District Salon series. We are kicking off with Haley Roadside, who's a clarinetist, and Seok-hee Jang, who is a harpist. Actually, I think I reversed those. Yes, we reversed those. We have harp and clarinet. Now, that's not a musical combination I knew that I needed in my life. I never would have thought of it, but I am very excited because it is unique, and these 2 members of the Orlando Philharmonic will be here to perform for us at 7 o'clock. If you haven't bought tickets, you can find them on the church website, or at least the link to it. It's also not too late to get your season passes for the entire season. And right after service, we will have volunteers passing out little reminders during the coffee time so that everybody can be there next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Aubrey. I'm actually super jazzed about all 3 of those announcements. So, all other announcements are on slides both before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. So if you'd like to follow along with the service, please use the QR code that is on the monitor. It's also a little envelope at your pews. And thank you again for being here in person and online today.
Everybody should look at the QR code today. And I would also say I've always wanted to ring the bell, so I've achieved one of my goals. Please say the words with me as we light the chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. The words will be on the screen.
Hope. I love that song. Good morning and welcome to our sanctuary. It is so good to be with you this morning. Feels like it's been a while since I've said this to you. I've missed it. I've missed you. So this month of September, we are exploring the practice of invitation. One of the things that the curators of the Soul Matter packets invite us to do this year with the themes is to treat them as practices, as spiritual practices. For example, practice being inviting in all that you do this month. Here is actually some of what you said about how you can practice invitation. And this was done during the Hive Mind session that the worship team held. So these are some of the things you've said, how you are going to practice being inviting or invitational. You're going to be mindful of the new kid at coffee hour, So you're going to be mindful and be inviting to folks who are newcomers among us. You're going to sit in different places and talk to different people. You know how these things can be like assigned seats, so I want to see that happen. You yourself, you want to be open to being invited, so saying yes more. Inviting new thoughts and perspective within yourself. Invite everyone, new and old, to join in the running of the church, inviting folks to participate. If you notice somebody may have an interest, they may not know we have this particular group or committee, you may want to say, hey, you might fit right in with this particular committee. Invite joy to others. So say something positive to a stranger. Better yet, say something positive to a beloved. Help people meet others. We're not talking about necessarily making a love connection, although that's okay too. Put on our bubbly extroverts to work. You know, some of us are introverts, but we still have extrovert sides in ourselves. So bring those out, especially when we're welcoming newcomers. Practice getting out of our own comfort zones. And it's the last one, it takes courage, well, second to last, to extend the invitation and accept it. because usually our society kind of, we've kind of created a society where you stay in your own little bubble. And the last one is a quick message. It's a reminder, actually, can inspire someone. So if you've been thinking about sending someone a note, do it. And today, we practice the theme by inviting you into conversation with us, Board President Gregg Buckingham and I. So may you take us up on it. We've gotten some questions here. It's not too late. And before we start with the questions, I want to first remind you of the vision and mission statements of our congregation. So I invite us now into worship with them. So just take a couple of deep breaths. The words will be up there. I'll be reading them. Just kind of read along in your mind and just kind of take them in, okay? So our vision statement. First Unitarian brings together a vibrant, inclusive, multi-general community of spiritual seekers grounded in love. We sustain each other in joy and sorrow, promote lifelong learning, and act for justice in the world. That is our vision. That is how we want to be. That is, we are a work in progress. There are some of this we already are doing and can get better at, but this is our vision. And our mission statement says, we nurture a spiritual community grounded in love that celebrates diversity and promotes justice. So, with these words in your hearts, let us worship together. And let's take this moment to greet one another. Say hello. Say that nice little message you might have been holding on to.
Is it possible for anybody who's watching online to ask a question?
Maybe. That would take some work from them. Let me go back to
Hello, if I may have any children, young at heart, who would like to participate in Time for All Ages. Whoops. Come on down, come on down. All right, I'm gonna actually sit with y'all today. Hello, hello. So, as you may have caught wind, today's service is all about questions. And I love asking questions, right? Asking questions is how we are curious and how we seek for understanding. And so what's really awesome is that we are starting off our questions with you all, our kids, our youth, yeah? So today we are asking questions. We've got Reverend Margalie here, and we've also got Gregg. He is our Board of Trustees president. And so I'm curious to know what questions you all might have about what we do here at this church, what it means to be a minister, what it means to be a Board of Trustees president, why we do things the way we do, what else we could do. What comes up for you all?
Oh, I see one here. What do you do outside of service?
Yeah, that's a great question. Would you like to say your name?
My name is Gianni Paul. What do you do out of service?
Oh, like a minister's life outside of service.
or board president life outside of service. So that's, it makes me think of that commercial where it's a bank commercial where the two customers say to him, "So, what do you do in the evening?" And then he's like, "What? And then they show him at night. He's at the church. He's lying on the sofa waiting for morning to come. So no, that's not what I do. So I do regular things. I think one of the things that happens for the congregation, for the most part, you only see me on Sunday mornings, right? So I think a lot of times the work of the minister looks like, well, it's that hour, those 2 hours we see you on Sunday morning. So there's that. But when I'm not being a minister, I'm doing everyday things like other adults do. I tend to be maybe more boring than other adults, so I do reading and listen to a lot of music. I'm also a homebody. Even when I travel, I prefer to travel to visit friends than to kind of go see a place. When I was younger, I was younger at one point. I didn't always have gray hair. I was younger at one point. I did do a lot more traveling for adventure. Now I prefer to just kind of like visit friends, hang out with friends. So I do everyday things when I'm not being a minister. How about you, Gregg? What do you do?
Well, that's a great question. I'm not usually part of service. I go to a lot of meetings, but what I do outside of church, I like to garden, and I have a pretty good sized garden, and I like to ride my bike, and usually riding to get coffee and then riding home. And my wife and I have 2 boys. They're now in their 30s, and so we try and do things with them. And next week I'll be visiting one of my sons out in Idaho for a week, and trying to fish and camping and having a good time with him. Great question.
All right, we've got a question here. You want to say your name?
My name
You don't have to be right on the mic. There, right there.
is Nolan Horn.
And what's your question?
My question is, what age can you go to choir?
So maybe what age can you be in the choir? And maybe also a question about, like, how do we decide what music we're going to have during church? And how can you get involved if you like music?
I don't know if I said thank you for your question. Thank you. And thank you for your question. So our choir is newly formed. The children's choir is newly formed. 4? Third grade. Okay, 2nd grade too, somebody would like to have in choir. But basically, if you have a desire to sing and you're around 3rd grade, I would say let's bug our music director there and say, hey, listen, I'm almost 3rd grade or I'm almost 2nd grade and I can sing. So how do we decide music for the service? So usually, earlier, I talked about we have a theme for this month, and for this month the theme is invitation. So we start from there, like, oh, what is the theme? Invitation. What music do we have that has to do with invitation and all that good stuff? And then I also meet with our music director over there, and we talk about, hey, what do you think about this song or that song? And we have a packet, a whole bunch of information that comes to us from these people who put together information around the different themes that we work with, and then they make suggestions for music. So right now, that's how we're doing it. But now that the children have their own choir, we'll get input from you too. And also, if you 2 weeks ago, we had the Mind Hive, and from that, we got some suggestions for music as well. So,
Good question. Thank you. Okay, if anybody else has a question, we might have time for one more. These were really good questions.
You don't want to miss out.
I bet you got the grown-ups thinking too. All right. Well, yeah, keep asking those questions, keep being curious, and I think it's time to sing them out, yes?
Yes, somebody's leading the way. I think somebody knows what to do. So if you would make a nice, see, we have a nice picture up there for you. Make just a nice covering for our children, youth and children, as they go out to their activities. This little life of mine, I'm gonna So I'll pronounce his name in French, so if you usually pronounce it in English, sorry. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, French Jesuit, Catholic priest, scientist, theologian, philosopher, and teacher said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." I pause a little bit because I really love that, because I do think that with intentionality behind what we do, everything we do has the potential to be spiritual. These words remind me that what we do, everything we do, is grounded in our spiritual nature. Our work together as a congregation is not simply about logistic tasks or titles, but about engaging in spiritual practice that reflects our deepest values. Here at 1U, the roles of the minister and that of the Board of Trustees are a vital expression of this spiritual practice. The board and the minister work together, not in isolation, but in unity, each playing a distinct yet interconnected role. The board, as the overseer, holds the vision for our future. They set the course, discern where we need to go as a community, ensuring that our values and long-term goals guide us. The minister, on the other hand, as a spiritual leader and chief of staff, carries the mission. So I am charged with bringing the board's vision to life. Remember, the board is a representation of you, so the vision of the congregations to life, ensuring that our daily actions, worship, and outreach are aligned with our shared purpose. In this partnership, there's a beautiful dance, a balance between vision, execution, between the sacred work of dreaming and the spiritual labor of making those dreams reality. It's not a hierarchy, but a collaboration. Ideally, the board provides the map and the minister accompanies the congregation on the journey, guiding with wisdom and care. Together, the board and I form a team, both honoring our responsibilities as part of a larger sacred endeavor. But let's not forget that all we do here, from setting the vision to executing the plan, from preparing a Sunday service to organizing a committee meeting, is spiritual work. We are first and foremost a religious community. Every action taken in service of our mission, every decision made by the board or me must be rooted in our spiritual calling to create a more just, loving, and compassionate world. All the work you do as members of committees or teams must also be in service of our mission and vision. The board and I do not and cannot do our work alone and rely on the entire community to do it. And today we want to give you the opportunity to pose some questions of the board and the minister. Gregg will represent the board, and I will represent, the minister. So let's go with a couple of questions. We have, I would say at this point we have about 7, which seems to be the number. There's another one in the back. So I'm going to go over to my other spot here and just start with the first question. And I figure since I'm asking the question, Gregg will have to answer first. That's what I'm thinking. So this one says, how would people feel about having more traditional church music a little more often? That seems like a question really for the board as the representation of the congregation, but really a question for all of us, right? Everybody here, because it's how would we feel about having having more traditional church music. So.
Well, I would say that I like that. There's a part of me, even though it doesn't jive with my current beliefs, that connects with old spiritual hymns. For example, Abide With Me is in our hymnal, and I play that song almost every day. I substitute the word love for Lord and make some other improvements. But I connect with those old hymns myself in a way that uplifts me, and that is the key word.
I think there is room for both. Traditional hymn. I think as you use, we kind of pull away from traditional hymn because I think the reason for that is we have baggage that are weighed down by things from old religious upbringing that we might have had, right? And some of that includes just traditional music. But we are, as Unitarian Universalists, we started out as Christians. Ooh, but anyway, we started out as, I'm just saying, we started as Christians. That's why our name's Unitarian Universalists. Those are Christian-rooted words. So there's room for both, and I'm guessing here by this question, this person would like to see us to really do some traditional music. And I would also say, I think we also can stand doing more contemporary stuff that also connects us to our spiritual grounding. So there, it's not a no, definitely. So let's do one more question before Beth comes up and invites us into generosity. Sure.
Okay, good question. And the appropriate person is asking, and the appropriate person will answer. Are secular and religious humanists essentially Unitarian Universalists without a church?
Well, I would say yes, why not, right? There are, first of all, let's go back a little, not go back. So recently, there was I think it was a New York Times survey, or certainly an article that was written in one of the larger newspapers that kind of shows that when it comes to denominations, Unitarian Universalism is the fastest growing, currently is the fastest growing faith tradition. And I'm mentioning that because I'm thinking of those who are referred to sometimes as nuns. Don't mean the people who used to wear those long hats. No, I mean people who consider themselves spiritual but non-religious, right? And I think a lot of secular and regular humanists fall in that category. And really, there was a period when, and I'm pretty sure that group is still, there was a period when Unitarian Universalism had a lot of humanists, secular humanists who were part of our denomination, and they continue to be. I know of at least one congregation that is specific, they consider themselves completely and specifically humanist. So I think, yeah, why not? I think for me, when I think of me and many of you, I've heard this before, like somebody will say to you, you know, I think you're a Unitarian Universalist. You should check those people out. And then you have, and you feel right at home. The other thing I want to mention is there is a book written by William Schultz that's called, Reverend Marty, can you remember that name? The one about the humanist. Yes, the Humanist Manifesto. Right. And William Schultz is a retired Unitarian Universalist minister, actually was board president. And really in that case, and part of the discussion talks about why secular humanists came in existence anyway. They were trying to save religion from the far right because it just felt, and what is happening today? So they were trying to save religion, saying, hey, listen, all of us have the right to religion. All of us have the right to a space to worship, although I go like this because some humanists do not like that word. But so, yeah, I would say it is very possible that the answer to your question is yes. Okay, so Beth, would you please come up and invite us into generosity?
Good morning. I'm Beth Tura, a member of the Board of Trustees. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values, which sustains life and ministries of the church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Our Share the Plate partner for the month of September is Adult Literacy League, just in time for National Literacy Month. Joining us to share about the work of Adult Literacy League is their Development and Communications Manager, Peyton Whittington, and one new member, Catherine Baccaro.
Hi, everybody. As many of you know, I have been a long-time volunteer with the Adult Literacy League, and I can't say enough good things about all that that's brought to my life. Getting to help people who wanted to improve their reading and numeracy skills really has touched my heart. And now Peyton is going to tell you all about what the organization is doing right now.
Thanks so much, Catherine, and thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to spend the morning with you guys and your lovely community. So yeah, my name is Peyton. I'm the Development and Communications Manager for the Adult Literacy League. We're a nonprofit that teaches Central Floridians how to read, write, and speak English. So about 1 in 4 adults here in Central Florida reads at or below a 5th grade level. Now at this level, things like reading from the hymnal in front of you, reading a restaurant menu, reading road signs becomes extremely difficult, and things like filling out job applications become nearly impossible. So this is the work that we do here at the League, is to combat these figures and literally open up the world for folks at the lowest levels of literacy. So how do we do that? We do it through group classes happening in mostly the local libraries in Orange, Osceola, and Seminole counties, led by volunteer instructors. In addition to my day job with the League, I also volunteer to teach one of our classes at the Sanford Library by me, so I can attest that it's one of the best things you can do with an hour of your week. We also have online classes via Zoom, and we match students with one-on-one volunteer tutors. So if you are looking for a way to make a tangible difference in someone's life, I can tell you that this is a phenomenal way. I love my class every week. I teach one of our English for Speakers of Other Languages classes, and I have students from all over the world, from India, Colombia, Japan, Venezuela, truly all over, and it's a wonderful experience being a part of their story and their American dream. So if you'd like to learn more about us and hopefully get involved, we would love to have you. Please visit adultliteracyleague.org to learn more, or get in contact with me. Thank you.
100% of today's collection will go to the Adult Literacy League. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give online using the link, QR code.
If religion was a thing that money could buy, the rich would live and the poor would die. Too late, but never mind. All my trials soon be over. Oh, I have a little book that's pages of 3, and every page it spells liberty. All my trials soon be over. Too late, my brothers. Too late, but never mind. All my trials soon be over.
Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
All right, I kind of think this question is for Gregg. Of the board members, who has been a UU member the longest and the shortest?
Well, we have a great board, first of all. Me accepted, of course. I think the longest serving, the longest member with the longest tenure is Sandy Pollock, I believe. And I believe the shortest would be Joy Dickinson. I think I'm right on that, but
Sounds good to me. Here's another question. I think this will be for both of us, but I can start. Go ahead and ask.
all right. I'd like to invite my favorite candidate for Orange County Commission here to meet my UU family. How are we handling that?
Well, we are a place of worship. Anybody's welcome here anytime. So your friend can come and meet anybody here anytime. Now, I'm thinking the question is to speak, in which case, as you know, we are a religious institution, and we can speak on any topic we want to very openly, but when it comes to candidates, we don't generally invite candidates to come and speak on, why they're running for office or just in general. But really, you're certainly anybody's friend, whether they're running for office or wherever, is welcome to come and worship with us, and then, introduce them to your your family. That's not a problem at all. I think we can do another. Here's one. Can one be a member of our community and their faith community? And their faith community. I think maybe a member of two faith community, maybe? Did you want to?
I don't know the rule.
Yes, I mean, you can be a member of as many, as far as we are concerned. Yes, and in fact, I'm pretty sure we do have people here who are members of more than one church community. As you know, as Unitarian Universalists, we are inclusive and diverse in our religious and theological views, which means that somebody can be a practicing Buddhist and be a Unitarian Universalist, Jewish and be a Unitarian Universalist, atheist and be a Unitarian Universalist, and have membership in any of those with those other faith tradition. We definitely don't police who else you should be affiliated with when it comes to religion. We don't, and because like as which is part of our values, we have the responsibility to do this work. We have the responsibility to do our spiritual work, right? Our work here is, as I do my spiritual work, as Beth does her spiritual work, the rest of the community supports her and maybe even challenge her a little bit in that work. So if part of that work is attending another faith tradition as well, that we don't police that, so that's not a problem for us at all. Of course, we want you here. Yes. Maybe one more, and then we'll go into. I'm gonna find one just for you. Oh, can you share your personal statement of faith, Gregg?
Set the timer.
Oh, no.
Well, to cut to the headline, I am an atheist, and I have some trouble with organized religion as I define it. But two things have helped me just recently. I'm a person who keeps asking myself. I'm not a person who's done. And so I've had a lot of growth in the last year and a half. First, I took the 5 Questions course with Reverend Margalie and met some wonderful people who were also taking that course. And at the end, we had to write our credo. That course, it only lasted, 5 or 6 weeks, but it really helped me define that, my view and my vision. And so my wife will say that she believes in science and randomness. I've thought about that for about 43 years now. And that is part of what I've adopted. I believe in science. I've worked at NASA for 30 years. And so that's important to me. But I also know random things happen. My father died of Alzheimer's when I was fairly young. And so why did that happen? So what I value is new experiences. And that is part of why I'm board president. It's a new experience. What I value is helping other people succeed. And as a supervisor at NASA and as a faculty at UCF, I had a great opportunity to do that and got a lot of self-satisfaction. And so I value the new. I value change. I believe this is it. When I die, that's it. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. And when I use the word spiritual, this is maybe the most important thing I should have said. Beth Tour asked me a question when we were talking about the strategic planning. What does that mean? And it does mean different things to different people. When I use that word, and I use it a lot, it means what uplifts me, what sustains me. And I have some personal practices, gardening, biking, meditation, yoga, although I'm not doing too much of that right now. and journaling. Those are my 5 spiritual practices. And those uplift me when I do those things. And I'm also finding uplift from being board president because of all of you.
So I'll answer it, and then we'll move into the invitation to prayer and so on. So for me, I consider myself agnostic with mystical tendencies. And so I believe in the mystery of it all. I believe that my spiritual beliefs are forever changing with experiences and with knowledge and wisdom and so on. I hope as I get older, I'm not just getting more gray hairs, that I'm getting wiser as well. And for me, when it comes to the sacredness, and certainly lately as board president, Gregg has heard me mention relationship a lot. I do really believe the sacred happens in relationships. The sacred happens when we, as human beings, truly make space for one another to fully be who we are, right? When we can withhold our judgment, when we can love one another, and I don't mean necessarily I'm not saying loving what the person is doing, but when we can love one another for being another human being and so on, and when we make that space and we're engaging one another, I can even visualize it. I think that's where the sacred happened. That's where that us being spiritual being, I think that's what that means, that as we engage one another, if we are engaging with one another with good intentions, understanding that those intentions are actions, that doesn't mean that it can't turn out wrong. But if we can engage one another truly with love in our hearts, making space, building good, healthy relationships with one another, I think that's where the sacred happened. That's where we make space for it. And it's forever changing. So this is our time for grounding. So I'm just going to walk over to the pulpit there. If you have a sorrow that you need witnessed, or have a joy you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read here on Sundays. You can do so by sending us an email at joysandsorrows@orlandouu.org during the week, or in person, you can fill out a card, and the wonderful folks who welcome you, they make sure we get that information here. And we also offer you an opportunity here to light a candle as you walk up. And I had a really wonderful conversation with someone about what that time means to them when we do the candle lighting ritual. Whatever you bring up, as you're walking up, if you could really think about why you're coming up and so on, and be intentional about it. So bring your joys, bring your sorrows as we gather. Your whole self is welcome in this space that we are creating together. Today's flowers here, they are provided by Jeannie Carter in celebration of Labor Day. And may we move toward a day when all workers are treated fairly. And we have news from Beverly Alec, who says, I am home from the hospital. The procedure was successful, and I expect to fully recover. My thanks to everyone for their love and support, and I look forward to being back in the swing of things in a couple of weeks. So that's good to hear. And sending also well wishes to Craig. And we continue to hold our Orlando families in love, our communities with care, and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all the small and large ways that will move the arc of justice. And for all the joys and all the sorrows shared today and those held close to the heart. Let us pray, let us celebrate, and let us send each other healing energy. And I invite us into meditative prayer with the words of Reverend Scott Taylor. If you would center yourselves, put your feet flat on the floor if you are able or if you wish, so that you can feel settled in place. Take a couple of deep breaths and let these words wash over you. Take in what feels right for you and letting the rest go. In this space, carved by our quiet connection, we give thanks for the many forms of love that have formed us. The love of family that brings us into being, allows us to bloom, and then send us on our way to the reminder that we can return no matter what. The love of partnered hearts that teach us to trust and help us know that who we are does not end at the barrier of our own skin. The love of friends who help us feel seen and sing our song back to us when we cannot hear it with our ears alone. The love of community that bathes us in belonging and calls us to see the needs of others as our own. And the greatest love, the love that will not let us go, even in our fear, even in our failure, even when we are lonely or lost. Love invites us home, friends. If we listen, it is doing so, even today. And come forward as you are willing and able and light a candle of remembrance, loving kindness, and hope.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Thank you for all of your questions today, and we are aware of the time. So what Gregg and I have decided to do is, there are 3 questions here. There are others. I'm going to ask them, and we'll just take a minute to answer whichever one we wish to, and then we will finish with the questions that way. One is, for someone who is interested in becoming a member of the church, what is the process? Another one is, what has the Unitarian Church done this year to spread love and promote justice? And the third one, what is your greatest hope for 1U? So.
Well, I don't want to pass that membership question. You can see Reverend Margalie or myself afterwards. But my greatest hope is that we renew and refresh ourselves as we go forward, and we engage ourselves just as passionately as we can.
Anybody quickly with membership here could raise their hand? Okay, so we have a membership team. This is just a very short answer. Membership team who can definitely have a conversation with you about this, or as Gregg said, see us about that. We'll talk some more. So throughout the year, I'm thinking church year, we have, I guess one of the things we participate in regularly every year is the Pride Parade. We also participate in the in Veg Fest. Last year, we also held a Side with Love rally at Lake Eola Park. Earth Day. Thank you, Charlotte. We also held a rally. We had here Beyond, we held a program called Beyond Binary. I forgot which month that is. That was also last year. And we are planning another Earth revival here. This is for this year. And the Justice team, I'm seeing Martha back there and Mike back there. We also are planning for this year also of other things we'll participate in, things we have not before that we want to continue to participate in. So. So thank you so much, and whether you're on the board or a committee or a team, your work is not separate from the spiritual life of our congregation. It is spiritual life. We are not merely human beings managing a church. We are spiritual beings, co-created a sacred community. In this sacred work, we are transformed, not only by what we accomplish, but how we journey together. So let us continue to honor sacredness of each role and the spiritual significance of all that we do. May we always remember that in every action, large or small, we are living out the truth that we are a spiritual being having human experience, building a community grounded in love, vision, and shared purpose. Be blessed, beloveds. And once again, please join me and rise and body your spirit as we sing our closing hymn. One verse, hymn number 360, Here We Have Gathered. With us starting the first year of our strategic plan, the future holds much excitement and many challenges for us. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. These are the words of Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson.
Worship has ended, and now the service truly begins. Please say these words with me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community. These we carry in our hearts.